Now it is much more intuitive to select and rotate the controls. Now we just need to make a shape for the location control. To do that, we're actually going to create an empty. We can adjust its appearance and size in the empty's properties. Finally, move the shape objects to the last scene layer. Now the torso is much more intuitive to manipulate. It's really hard to use before adding the shapes. One of the cool things about having a separate location control like this is that it also gives us an indication of where the pivot point is at all times. So now let's do the arms. This process is the same as on Mr. Hot Dog. There are a couple of things to be mindful of, though. The first is that the socket switch is going to be attached to the shoulder bones, not the body bones, because the arm is supposed to follow the shoulder now. Mr. Hot Dog never had any shoulders. The second is that any part that needs to be the children of the body, such as the IK elbow targets, should be the children of the original torso chain, which we put on the last armature layer. This is because this chain is the only one that moves precisely with the body. The other torso chains are just mechanisms to get this chain to move the way we want. So if you want a control to follow with the body, you need to make it the child of this chain. And now let's separate the arm rigs into separate layers. Let's put the FK controls on this layer. And the IK controls on this layer. And let's put the original arm bones on the last layer, along with the original torso bones. And let's put the mechanisms for the FK and IK arms on the layers directly below the FK and IK controls. This helps keep things organized and easy for us to find later if we need to. And finally, let's move the FK and IK bones back into alignment with the original. And now, let's rig the fingers. But we're going to make one really simple change. In addition to letting the fingers bend inward, we're also going to let them bend backwards. That means our animation is going to be a little bit different. Frame 1 is going to have them bent backwards. On frame 11, they're going to be unbent. And on frame 21, they'll be bent forwards. Now let's configure the action. And here we also need to make some adjustments. Instead of 1.0 and 0.5, we're going to use 1.5 and 0.5. That way 1.0 will map to 11, which is our unbent frame in the finger bend action. Now when we scale the control up, the finger bends backwards. And when we scale the control down, the finger bends forward. Cool. The rest of the process is exactly the same as before, so I'll do the rest of the finger rigging off screen. See you on the flip side. So now the fingers are rigged, but let's hold off on moving things to different layers for the fingers. We'll do that at the end. Now let's set up the palm rig, the simplest rig ever. Actually, that's not the simplest rig ever. The shoulders are the simplest rig ever. We're just going to use the bones directly. The only thing we need to do is switch them to Euler and lock the Y rotation axis. Make sure to choose a good rotation order for it. And we should probably lock their locations as well. Now we're almost done with the upper body. We just need to build the head and neck rig. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember to attach things to the original torso chain, not the torso controls. And remember to parent things without a parent to the root bone.